And guys, I'm going to start, as I always do, with reading the numbers. So this week we start off with Sarah Z with 2 applications for 1,514. We have Chris H with 2 applications, 1,643. We have Janine A with 2 applications, 1,718. We have Dawn T with 2 applications, 4,812. Chantel W with 5 applications for 5,866. We have Claudia C with 5 applications for 6,035. And myself with 8 applications for 11,006, and 2 Relias Shield. And then topping the leaderboard this week, we have Joe R with 2 applications for 15,658. That's an awesome week, Joe. That does include a $150,000 annuity. And guys, when you do write annuities, you get to count 10% of the total annuity volume towards your submit numbers, okay, towards your annual premium submit numbers. So that brings us to 48,249 for a total with 28 applications. So 28 families helped with 8 riders. I do want to just take a second and point out that Chantel is the only person this week that had more than 20 appointments. She had 23 appointments. Her AP may not match up with it this week, but what happens is when you're consistently running 20-plus appointments, there's a huge snowball effect in the right direction, not the wrong direction, and you start to build momentum, and those numbers definitely catch up. So all of us that are full-time should be running a minimum of 20 appointments. If you're not, please be sure you're getting with me or Chantel so that we can help you reach that point if you're full-time. So great job on the appointments there, Chantel. So, guys, what we're doing this week, just coming off of the Raleigh training and also having that unique phone call with Chantel and myself and Dom for last week, we wanted to kind of go over what your takeaways were from the Raleigh training. So, Chantel, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Paige.
Okay. All right, hold on one second. So, sorry, Dawn is apparently on a wrong number, making sure I didn't post the numbers wrong as I used to. Okay, so Chantel, let's. Do we want to start, or do we want to ask everybody else what their takeaways were?
Well, let's get them to start.
All right. So, Jennifer, how about we start with you? Can you unmute the phone?
Go ahead. I need to remind you that it is bus and get kids out the door time, so I need you to repeat what I'm talking to you about.
Okay. All right. How about we'll come back to you then. You keep working on that. How about Claudia? Because I know Claudia's headed to an appointment. Let's start with her.
Okay, you know that I what? Can you hear me?
Claudia, is that you?
Yes. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. So what were your just give us some of your feedback about the Raleigh training and some of your takeaways from it.
Okay. God, I'm trying to get out the door too. I'm sorry. For me, I learned a lot about dialing, and because it's not easy to stick to a dial schedule. I learned from Danielle talking about the racetrack, and she used that motion to circle back to the script. That was powerful, and I have been using that more in my dials since the training, and booking a little bit better appointments. And just rehash the importance of leads. I know the importance of them. I'm not mixed up about that. It's just that, you and I have talked. It's been challenging for me to have the funds for them, but I'm really seeing the value of having them. When you don't have them, it's not a joke. You don't get your 20 appointments or 30 appointments. So I'll be able to purchase some more this week. I learned about just what types of leads to buy, and I'm sorry, I'm so distracted because I'm trying to get out the door. So those are the two main things for me. And you know what? I take that back. Also about building, the importance of building a team. It really hit home for me more than it ever had when they were talking about it in Raleigh.
Okay, great. Let's see. Joe, we've got you on here, right?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Hey, everyone. For me, it was really just about, just further reinforcing everything that I've been learning over the last month and a half or so, 2 months. Just reinforcing all the right habits about dialing, how to dial with that, like Claudia said, with the good advice from Danielle Byrne. For me, it's just really it just reinforced that you need to do certain things really well, starting with dialing, and you need to dial a lot, which I haven't been doing, and you need to and just further emphasize the fact that you have to protect your Monday dial time, and just you do have to dial until you hit your goal. You can't stop short of that. So and there was a lot of other learnings. I learned a lot more about Relias Shield. There's a lot of other learnings there, but for me, that was my biggest, reinforcement. That's really it for me. But I do. I would be interested in hearing from the team after we get off of this topic, how anybody is changing their, or if anybody's changing their dial, their dialing given the holiday on Monday.
So actually, we can go ahead, since you brought that up, Joe, and talk about that right now. Guys, whenever we have one of these Monday holidays, it does not change anything for me. I'm on the Monday dial schedule. So actually what it does is it makes for the most opportune dial time ever. When, Labor Day, Memorial Day, all these crazy Monday holidays, what they do, they got people at home. So I'm able to usually book up the next 2 days in a lot faster time than I normally do. How about you, Chantel?
Yeah, I'm looking at it like an opportunity because I run Mondays and a lot of people will be off. So instead of me having to cram in a bunch in the evening, I'm looking at trying to really pack in the day. So I'm looking like I'm probably going to be able to get more appointments on Monday than ever.
Exactly.
So I'm not changing a thing.
Absolutely. And you know what, Joe and everybody, you will have people giving you, saying they can't because they have plans or they have family in town. I kind of treat that the same as I do when somebody has a doctor's appointment. Okay, what time is everybody getting there? Oh, they're getting there at 2? Okay, well, I have open in about 10:15 a.m., long before they get there. Takes about 15 minutes. So how about we get this done before you get started? I'll get out of your hair, and let you guys continue. But let's take advantage of this while you're home, and I can get you in my schedule because I'm not sure when I'll be back in the area. So you will have some that you can't overcome, but you certainly can still try. Definitely keep swinging. Try to find out times of events or cookouts or whatever they're going to. So you'll have a slightly different objections potentially, family in town, blah blah blah. But for as many of those that you'll have equal to or more than people who are home and are available. because, you know, a lot of people are just enjoying the day off just by doing nothing, right? And we can take up just a little bit of their time with that. So I actually love those days.
And take the opportunity, guys, to, you know, you always word it in your favor. So, oh, great, you got the day off. I'm sure you would rather meet on your day off instead of trying to cram it in an evening after you get home from working all day.
Yep, exactly.
So you say things like that, and then all of a sudden they're like, you know, that probably would be better.
Yeah, because then they're not, like, looking at it like, oh, I don't want to do that on my day off, but just because, again, of the way you word it. So that was really good. Thank you, Chantel. Yep, love that. Okay, so Chris, we got you on here. How about you for your takeaways from the training?
Okay, I got a lot out of Zach Luppel's presentation about the in-home,
and
how he kind of sets it up in the beginning. He's like, obviously you guys are looking to get some insurance. It's pretty bold.
Yes, it is.
So if he can determine early on whether or not he's going to spend a lot of time there.
Yep.
That's one of the main things I got out of it.
Great. Yeah, that was a really good point. Zach is a hysterical presenter, but he also he gets a lot of content in through. You just got to be sure you're paying attention while you're laughing.
Yeah. He's serious he's very serious, even though he's laughing.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and he's a beast at this, and you know, I'm sure all of us, if you've ever heard Zach train, you realize that his appointments are probably funny too, but I think they come across with that same seriousness, even though people are laughing, right? And you do set people at ease, you know, if you get them laughing a little bit. You know, a little humor never hurts anything. So, okay, great. Sarah, how about you?
Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm also trying to get out the door, so if I sound a little breathless, I apologize. I think the biggest takeaway for me was Danielle, and like Claudia said, the racetrack, that, you know, you get the objection, and you just go right back to it. My job is simple. You know, they requested the information, so when they say, well, I'm not interested, well, that's not really true, because if they weren't interested, they wouldn't fill it out. So if you have your consistency and you know what you're saying on the phone, and the objections are just, they're not anything. I was actually listening to the appointment setting call yesterday morning with Dom, and he had pointed out that, you know, the objections that you get, if you just let them bounce off you, like you hear it but you don't even acknowledge it, that's going to overcome the objections more than anything. That, and then also I didn't get a chance to hear all of Keith Christmas's talk because I had to step out to the restroom, but I did record it, and just his whole thing about, you know, putting the numbers in your phone, putting the notes in. I mean, technology is so great today that, you know, we can put so much information in there, and when somebody calls you, you're not fumbling around like, I don't know who this is. So just making sure that we're touching base with our clients after the sale, because it's not just a one-time. I know I need to improve on my things, but it's not a one-and-done deal. You know, these people are paying for something for a long time. So when we tell them in the house, hey, I'm here for you, we need to actually be there for them when they need us, and not be like, oh, yeah, I'll get you back in a couple of days. No, we need to be reaching out to them, you know, making sure we're touching base and everything.
That's a good point, Sarah. You know, the funny thing is I've been putting my clients in my phone for a long time, but the one thing I wasn't doing was putting in the notes, like what type of policy, like, you know, Americo Eagle Premier, and or even a policy number. You know, so it's funny when they call me, I'm racking my brain trying to remember what I sold them, and he said that, and I'm like, duh, you're already doing most of that. Why don't you just put the policy number, you know, the product and the policy number in there, and then I would know, right? So a little light bulb went off with me as well. And, you know, I'm hit or miss on taking the pictures. I'm not sure if you guys picked up on that. Keith Christmas trained on the fact that he takes a picture of all his clients, and then he puts their contact information in his phone. So if his client Mary calls him, he answers the phone, "Hi, Mary." You know, and I've been doing that. I think it makes them realize that they're important. Oh, wow, she remembers me. Oh, wow, Sarah knows my name. She has my phone. Okay, good. You know, and then all of a sudden they're like, she said she was going to be my agent for life. Now I called and she called me by name. Wow, she must have really meant it. So I'm hit or miss on taking the pictures, but what I have found is the more clients that you get, the longer you're doing this, the harder it gets to remember them. And if I do remember, all right, sorry, I have dog noises in the background. If you do put the picture in there with the contact when they call you, it also is a visual reminder, help you remember exactly who that person was. So ever since hearing Keith, I've been trying to remember to take pictures, so and put those in there as well. So, okay, so let's see. We have BG Norman is on our call. BG is a new agent. He just ordered leads yesterday, so we're excited to have him getting started. And he was able to be at the Raleigh training. BG, are you there with us?
Yes, I am.
Now, I know it was probably a lot of information since you're so new, but what if you don't mind sharing just maybe a thing or two that you took away from it, that would be great.
Thank you, Paige. I thought the meeting was very interesting. What impressed me was the number of times that people would use what they call the trial close as they were in with the customer. For example, I'm here because you obviously need insurance. The confirmations that they use to try and get people to agree that they have a why that they need insurance. It happened over and over and over again, and it's something I've been trying to put in my mind as I get ready to go out tomorrow. So the short version is that I found it very informative, and as I said to you as I was leaving, it's just a tremendous amount of experience and talent that people share with us during the training, and I really, really appreciate it.
Awesome. I know, thank you for sharing that. I know when you're just getting started, I remember sitting in a training being feeling a little overwhelmed just because it is a lot of information, but it's important to kind of sort through and know that some of what you heard will actually make more sense once you get in the field and start doing it. All of a sudden you'll be going, aha, that's what they were talking about. So, but we sure are glad you could make it, and thank you for getting on this morning's call. Let's see, Jennifer, can we circle back to you?
Sure, yes, you can.
Okay.
Paige knows that we have had a very awful week in our house, and I actually really loved hearing how everybody started and why they started getting into this in the first place, because now, I had a why before, and now I really, really have a why. But I do need to get better about finding other people's why when I'm in the home. I get so wrapped up in doing the worksheet and getting them, their numbers, that I think I definitely lose the why I'm there in the first place. So I do need to get better at that and finding people's whys who, I sat with a lady the other day who was literally about to turn 50. She's turning 50 on Monday. And I said, well, what does it look like if, you don't wake up tomorrow morning? And she just said, I don't know. My husband will probably just take care of it. I'll probably sell my business. She didn't act emotionally attached to any of it. So it kind of threw me a little bit, and, she let me leave, and I let her know, she was a smoker and 49 years old, about to be 50, and she didn't have any coverage. And she was a smart lady. She was a business lady, and I was a little baffled that she let me leave. But I do need to get better at finding the why, and also the amount of time I spend dialing. And I too have had some fund issues with getting leads, and but I'm doing the best I can with what I have. But I definitely have lots of room to improve on some things. But I really love the trainings because they help me get remotivated, and they also make me remember that I'm not alone. Not that Paige and Chantel create a lot of training opportunities for us, and I'm very thankful for that. But being together and hearing it all and hearing everybody, because, I always tend to call Paige, and it's just nice to hear other people's perspective on things and to know that you're not alone, because we are very independent contractors. So that's what I got out of the training.
Awesome. Yeah, I thought it was good. I enjoyed hearing. I didn't know so much about James Weir's start, so I enjoyed that part as well. He's one of the people I don't know as well, know him better now, but yeah, that was really good. I agree with you. Well, good. Now, hopefully, I know not everybody was able to be there, but guys, these trainings, they are quarterly, and it's an important way to get yourself refueled. And Jennifer, I think you said that really well. They help get you remotivated. They help you. It's so easy when you're running a lot of appointments to almost get in a rut and kind of forget what you were doing when you first started, maybe where you were having success. Or, it's easy, I guess, let me rephrase this. It's easy, the more you do, to start to develop bad habits without even realizing that you're developing them. But the training will help you realize, oh, my gosh, I haven't been doing that. Oh, and I haven't been doing that. And then you're kind of like, oh, no wonder I haven't been closing as many, or no wonder my close ratio isn't increasing. So we do encourage everyone attending. So, Chantel? How about your turn now?
Hey, sorry, I had it on mute. Yeah, so I think my biggest takeaway, I really liked listening to the annuity training. It's always good. I mean, I've sold annuities, but it's always good to get that confirmation that it is a lot more simplistic than we want to make it out to be. It can be daunting for a lot of people. To ask the questions, to be able to find the money, that I really thought he did such an awesome job of explaining just really how simplistic it really is, and that you don't really have to be any bit of an expert. You just have to know what questions to ask. So I thought he set that up really, really good. I also really enjoyed hearing everybody's story. I think it's always humbling to hear how everybody got started and how they were able to make it be a success. So I do think that that's something that's maybe in some trainings have gotten away from, but I think it's really important to get back to it. So I think those were my biggest takeaways. I also wanted to kind of mention to everybody that they're kind of getting away from doing all these smaller trainings and going to be doing bigger trainings in some of the bigger places. So I think Pennsylvania and Atlanta are going to be the next ones for the fall, that October and November. So let everybody kind of think about which location they want to go to and get ready to do that, because it'll be awesome, awesome training. So I hope everybody will make a plan to be at one of those or both.
Yeah, absolutely. And Chantel, I was going to mention that as well. Freddie and I are already planning on attending the one in Atlanta. So guys, these quarterly trainings, we would normally have a fall training. We had our summer training a little late, and what a lot of the big groups are doing, as Chantel said, is they're just combining and going to have one big fall/winter meeting, and then we won't have anything until we roll into annual conference in February. So the date for for Atlanta is November 7th and 8th. It's actually a 2-day training, so it's going to be a lot more. It's almost going to be like a mini annual conference. It is in Powder Springs. It's all over Facebook. But if anybody needs the details, reach out and let us know. But Freddie and I have already reserved hotel rooms so that we can be there. And, we get a lot of extra training through our association with Athena as, a mentor and a friend for myself and Chantel. We also benefit directly from John Wetmore, who is Athena's upline, and then they are all part of the Greater Southeast team, and that's the team that's having the Atlanta team. So it's kind of a natural fit for us to go there, but there's also going to be a really big one in Philadelphia. I know that will include a lot of Mark Mead's organization, which is another one of my favorites. So people like Millie, who I know some of you got to see in Charleston, she'll be training there. So you can't go wrong, and depending on your availability, you can't go wrong to go to both. And this is a little bit reminiscent of our early days, right, Chantel? We used to have to travel that far just to get to a training.
Yeah, no, I actually am really excited about it because I love having our trainings here, and I think it's great, especially, the simplicity of people being able to be local. But to be in a room of people of that caliber, and I just think it's awesome to be around more people that are having more success. The energy in the room will be different. So I'm excited about it.
Yep, me too. So mark your calendars, and I will be sure, as I am seeing the post for those, to put them in the WhatsApp, and that way everybody can take a look at it and start to see what they can do as well. This will be truly the last mini feeding, if you will, before we get to annual conference. So we do highly recommend that. And on that note, if you have not registered for annual conference, you're going to want to do that. You want to register that you're attending, and you'll want to reserve your room. You only pay for one night stay when you reserve your room, but without a doubt, there's going to be an overflow room at annual conference this year. I don't want to be sitting in the overflow room. I think they're going to be basing it on when you made your reservation, who's in the main room and who's in the overflow room. And as far as the hotel goes, it's anybody who's been, we kind of start early and brief breaks to eat. You want to be staying right there where you are. So we want to you want to be sure to do that as well. And we can't recommend that enough. So everybody, I hope this kind of just helped everybody remember all the good stuff we got in Raleigh and help you aim towards another week. One last thing, guys, we are now starting the beginning of September. So September is the last month before we hit the magical fourth quarter, where insurance sales, for whatever reason, are always their highest. So I really recommend you guys putting up as much as you can and, ramp it up. Pedal to the metal, put as much gas on this fire as you can to get ready, because what we do this month will lead us right into the fourth quarter, and that's where, you can make more in this last quarter of the year than you've made all year long if you're intentional about it. So anything that Chantel and I can do to help, please feel free to reach out, and everybody go make it a great week. Thanks for jumping on.